Good day everyone, I am Sushana Macero and welcome to our second virtual conference. Now it's my pleasure to welcome our speakers. I would like to acknowledge the presence of our DSWD Regional Director, Ms. Crystal Maygica, and our ARD Operations and Programs, Mr. Renz Villapaz from the Department of Social Welfare and Development. Together with us are partner organizations from Child Hope Philippines Foundation, Incorporated, headed by Mr. Amiel Adrian Ines and Ms. Julia Marie Laran from Charity for Peace Incorporated. This is going to be a great discussion as we will discuss some important matters which will be discussed by Ms. Crystal Maygica. But before that, let me show you a clip of what social issue we will be discussing today.
It's 4 a.m. in Manila as Jodine Sola makes his morning rounds. A burly lay missionary with kind words,
So kids, kamusta na?
a gentle touch, and deep empathy for the children of the streets.
The kids are suffering too much in lung disease, lungs problem. So because they sleep on the concretes and the kids are so unhealthy. Living in this kind of environment, a lot of kids are dying very young.
Jodine Sola was once a street kid himself. He knows what it's like to be a child without a childhood. He has felt their pain.
Amen.
You can see how he's trusted even by the most hardened teenagers. And trust, Joe believes, is his most powerful tool.
Tambay.
It helps him encourage children to drop by his small mission shelter
Hey, Matt. Brother.
for a free meal, some companionship, maybe a little advice about dangers on the street. A place to learn a few life skills. Some responsibilities. Something like, well, a normal life.
What the real need of these children is needed. Somebody that can assure them that they are cared. Somebody that can play with them, that can embrace them in their wounded situations. I believe that, I can do something, I can contribute something to save these children.
One child at a time.
One child at a time, one child at a time.
Today, our positive intention would be to bring the topic of poverty, especially in street or homeless children, into greater light and spread awareness of it. First, I strongly believe that reducing poverty requires a focus both on what government needs to do and on what individuals need to do. We need a combination of responsible policies and responsible behavior. Second, although there are many things that might be done to reduce poverty in the Philippines, I want to argue for a focus on the three priorities: getting a good education, not having children early if you are not unprepared and unstable in all aspects, and having a safe place for homeless children.
It seems that street children come from all walks of life. From all around the world, many street children come from structurally disadvantaged homes with poor living conditions. Parental loss through deaths or shortages of housing force children onto the streets in order to survive. In a nutshell, children who are from poor families in our societies are likely to find themselves on the streets. Since the belly will not stop asking for food, street life is an adaptive response to stress experienced by families living in poor conditions. The move onto the streets can represent a desire to take control and displace old values and habits with new ones. And what do you think are the causes of this problem, Mr. Renz?
There are a lot of causes for these problems. Some are natural and some are man-made. Children have lost contact with their parents or families, which results the loss of children in the streets. Some families reject their children if they are handicapped. Some respectable parents disown their own child because he or she is an outcome of an affair. A multitude of factors contribute to the global rise of street children. Push factors including poverty, violence, neglect, abuse, and peer pressure. Life on the streets open up and expose these children to a world of drug addiction, sexual abuse and exploitation, labor exploitation, involvement in criminal activities, and violence by police and criminal gangs. Odds are stacked against them. They being exposed to the elements having unreliable access to food, lack of education and medical treatment and care, addiction, abuse, and illness are high, as is vulnerability.
I think we have a question here from one of our sponsors from Child Hope Philippines Foundation Incorporated. Go ahead, Mr. Adrian Ines.
What do you think is the plight of the street children during COVID-19's forced immobility?
Lockdown and social distancing have untold effects on street children who cannot afford the economic cost of forced immobility. Since their livelihood depends on the benevolence of informal street activities, this article analyzes the plight of these children, who rely upon daily street economic activities for sustenance. It espouses how forced immobility in response to COVID-19 defends the vulnerability of the already vulnerable street children in our country.
Usually exposed to unhealthy environment, conditions that threaten their health, coronavirus has deepened the vulnerability of these children. Some of them use face masks that they find in the streets, while many of them are without masks. Yet, these children meet and interact with different people, including other street children who are just vulnerable as they are, transiting every day without protection. Nevertheless, they share the same floor to sleep at night without maintaining social distancing. The activities of these children not only threaten their own health, but also put that of others in the society at risk.
I think Miss Julia Laran from Charity for Peace Incorporated has something to say about this matter.
Yes, one of the possible solutions we should do is that development centers should be risen. Development places are the best organizations and the services for street children. If we want to help the street children, there is a dire need to analyze the problems of these children and know the ways of how to help street children. Development centers help the street children at large scale as they know more about their problems and know the better solutions to their problems. These development centers offer and provide the street children all the facilities that the common children enjoy at their homes. These centers never let the children feel that they are in the centers, not in their home. The goal of the development centers is to know how to help street children for street children or to make them ready to take part in all the healthy activities of life.
It was indeed a great solution, Ms. Julia. We should also spread public awareness. Many of the public do not even know about the street children. Awareness means that we can inform as more people as we can about the problems of the street children and what we can do to help them. The increasing of the public awareness can be very helpful in this regard. We can state the people by telling the stories of different kinds of street children, by sharing the problems of the street children to those who even do not know about the problems faced by the street children and what we can do to help them. For this, we need to go to the door to make the people sure that they are ready to help out these children.
We should also reach out the problems of the street children and how to help the street children who are facing a number of problems, including protection, shelter, limited access to food and education. We may go to them directly to know the intensity of their problems. We may not be able to help them out from getting them out of all their problems, but perhaps we can solve some of them. Aside from the possible solutions, do you have any programs to recommend, Miss Crystal and Mr. Renz?
We have the Street Education and Protection Program. The Calle Escuela literally translated to school on the street. This part of the program uses a mobile van with audiovisual equipment to conduct alternative education session and basic letter C and numeracy classes. Under the DepEd accredited alternative learning system, or ELS, street children and youth learn through modules guided by our street educators trained as instructional managers. We also provide educational aid to children who go back to the formal school system. For our older participants, we conduct trade and tech skills training or youth empowerment project to help them gain income to support themselves and their families.
In that program, we also have psychosocial interventions. This section includes psychosocial aid and counseling. We help the kids and their parents cope up with the stress and the challenges that they encounter while learning. Moreover, we provide assistance to shelters, especially to those with completely neglected and abandoned children. The mobile health clinic provides primary preventive medical care, consultations, and treatments. This ensures that the children are healthy and in full physical capacity to learn. Also, skills and development, where we train the street children in leadership, computer literacy, sports, arts, and other skills. We help them develop these skills, nurture their good traits, and apply the values that they learned in life planning.
We should also keep in mind that the public welfare-free workers always exist to work in the favor for the street children, as they are willing to know the problems and know the ways how to solve the problems of street children. They work for the public free of cost. Therefore, it is very advisable to get their services for the street children to decrease the number. The increase in the number of volunteers may be very helpful to decreasing the number of street children. To know the ways how to solve the problem of street children, we must know the problem they are facing. In addition, no doubt that some governments have held programs to tackle with street children. The general solution of how to solve the problem of street children, placing the street children into juvenile homes, orphanages, or correctional institutions. Struggles have also been made by a number of governments to help or to support with the semi-government services and organizations. The general public, instead of the organizations and the institutions that care street children, may also assist the street children and help the government to realize how to solve the problem of the street children. The rehabilitation centers also play an important role in healing the street children and make them prepared to resort again to their home, as the streets are not their home.
The long-term impact of this program will not just benefit the street children and their families, but the communities as well. Since most of the street children participants will have better directions in life and no longer be engaged in illegal and unproductive activities, but will be worthy and productive citizens of their community. These children will have the opportunity to develop life goals and to have better future by motivating these children to engage in service and skills training, right?
Yes, of course, this project will be life-changing for everyone who needs us. With this, from the Charity for Peace Incorporated, together with the Child Hope Philippines Foundation Incorporated, headed by Mr. Ines, we would like to extend our full support on your projects by providing financial assistance and other essential needs to be allocated to our children.
We have no doubt that we will come with a silver lining event again this time. And we appreciate all our speakers from Department of Social Welfare and Development for discussing this problem. And of course, a bunch of appreciation for our partner organizations. It will be a great challenge, yet a great opportunity to address this social issue.
Throughout the years, our partners have dedicated their time, love, and effort to help the street children rebuild their lives. They have served as shining beacons of hope for a much brighter future. By joining our programs and projects, they empower the street children in countless ways. The interactions with various groups of people help the children envision them to be. Respected, useful, and responsible members of society. An estimated 50,000 to 70,000 children live and inevitably work on the streets of Metro Manila. Together, we can help the street children and make a lasting impact in their lives. Join us in our cause to empower them through education. We are the Street Child's Hope. With your help, we can provide a healthier and nurturing environment where they can feel loved. Support our cause by sending donations through the following channels.
This way, your job's a joke you broke, you're not like